Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, which amazingly enough is brought to you by thegaminggang.com. What a coincidence that is, right? So, welcome aboard. If this is your first time joining me, kick back, relax, put your feet up. It's not rocket surgery taking place here. We're just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So, we talk about board games, card games, role playing games, miniatures games. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little PC gaming, some pop culture, but for the most part, it's all just, just hanging out, talking about the latest in news. If you are someone out there who watches all the time, a constant viewer, thank you very much for returning once again. Yeah, the old deodorant's still holding up. Haven't scared you off just yet. Anyway, of course, if you like this video, do me a favor, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you subscribe, ding that bell. So it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, it'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my review of Symborum from Free League Publishing. This will be live tonight. And I'll explain why this is our review that's going up tonight as opposed to Undaunted from Osprey Games, because I know I was trying to do a War Game Wednesday, but some stuff has come up. Anyway, moving right along. I also want to mention, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And because this is a live stream, that also means chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in, and I will do my best to respond. So it looks like we've got a good chat breaking out already. The Madman, who was first out the gate, saying hello. Ibram's in chat with us. Dan from No Enemies Here is here. Well, in chat, he's here. He's not here in the Duct Tape Studios, I don't think. No, he's not here. I don't have any mushrooms here, so there would be absolutely no reason for Dan from No Enemies Here to visit me. So we have Cortuga 98. Might be a first-time visitor. I think it is a first-time visitor. I am. Hopefully I'm not being like, it all of a sudden Cortuga 98 is like, Jeff, I'm here like 3 nights out of 4. What are you talking about, dude? Anyway, if this is your first time, welcome aboard. If, it's probably, if it's not the first time, it's first of, or I should say it's not been too many times. So who else do we have here? So Dan from No Enemies Here said that he came for the rocket surgery. I really hate to disappoint you, Dan. I really do, but there's no rocket surgery taking place. John Bogle's in chat saying happy Wargame Wednesday. Actually, tonight is not Wargame Wednesday. I've decided tonight is Weak Ass Game Wednesday. We're going to talk about some of the worst board games ever created. No, I'm kidding. I've got some wargaming news. Clint Gibson is here. Beat Cafe is here. Dan mentioned that his game did arrive because I did an auction, a game auction. If you're not familiar, if you hadn't tuned in, and I think I would assume everybody's gotten their stuff, so that's cool. So Ibram says I got the first thumbs up on the video. It's calling everybody out. Yes, because we do have people who hang out here and watch the stream all the time who don't give the videos a thumbs up. Disappointing. Come on, it's not that big a deal. Cartuga98 does say that it is the first time visiting. Welcome, 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 welcome aboard. All right, before I jump into the news, so last night we were talking, one of the news pieces was the Level Up Dice Kickstarter that in conjunction with Paizo Inc., they're doing these. Actually, they look very cool. I'll be the first to admit these are pretty cool looking dice. Excuse me. And if I had been able to share the video without getting a copyright strike, I would have done so. But remember, I said, I'm not sure if these are metal or not off the top of my head, because actually in the kind of like sell sheet info, it didn't say that they're made out of metal. They are made out of aluminum. So I did find that out. They are aluminum. It's actually, I think, in the Kickstarter info, but the press info that was sent to me wasn't real clear on that. So I had also mentioned that I said, we were kind of talking about metallic dice, ruining people's tables and their dice trays and things like that. I would hope people would be smart enough not to be rolling metal dice on their table, just straight out on the table. Oh, yes, I know. I assume people are much more intelligent than they actually are. But I had mentioned that I had gotten that die from Wizards of the Coast, and I was like, oh, I'll show it to you in a minute. And then we got into something else in chat, and I forgot to show it to you if you missed it. Now, I did open the big, huge box. It was a gift box that Wizards of the Coast had sent along for Christmas, or for the holidays, a holiday gift, I guess we'll say. And amazingly enough, this box is huge. There wasn't a ton of stuff in it, which is fine. I mean, I'm not complaining. I thought the stuff that was in it was pretty cool. So it's and I think it's Sikorsky crystal. So it is a Sikorsky crystal die. Now, I use a fixed lens for the show, right? So this is not an autofocus. This is a fixed lens. So otherwise, I would like take the die and like hold it up closer to the camera, but all you'll get is an out of focus die as an example. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Actually, it is very cool, but I certainly would never, I honestly, I would never use this as a game die. This is pretty cool. Very nice. So Dan from No Enemies here is being summoned, probably by an evil wizard, and must leave. See you, Dan. Thanks for popping in, saying howdy. Hope you enjoy the game. If I remember right, I think Dan got Beneath the Med from GMT Games. So Jason Zirkle has joined us. Good to see you, Jason. Kick back, relax. Just about to move on into the news. Anyway, but this is a very, very cool die. I have it in my dice bag, which I think I've shown everybody my dice bag before, haven't I? I think so. And I know everybody, when they see this, they're like, oh, yes, you are definitely an old school gamer, Jeff. It's a Crown Royal bag. And this is the same dice bag I have had for 30 years, maybe more than that. So, yes. So I had tossed this into my dice bag because I was going to show it to my nephew Cameron and the rest of the gang next time we get together and do some role playing. But the way things are going, I don't know. The way this pandemic is continuing to rage on. Yeah. Flaming Huron is in chat with us as well. We've got both our chat moderators hanging out with us tonight. All right, let's jump on into the news. I think I've probably pontificated long enough. People are like, come on, man. I'm here for the gaming news, Jeff, not your nonsense, just blabbing on. So Clint Gibson says, ha ha, every table has someone with a Crown Royal bag. My tables used to have multiple people with Crown Royal bags. Elliot had a Crown Royal bag. Actually, I got another bag. This is another little gift that Wizards of the Coast had sent along. And this was when Rime of the Frost Maiden came out. And it's a set of dice in this kind of white bag. I would never have a white bag as a dice bag, simply because it'd be filthy. But remember, it's got this massive 20-sided die in here. And it was kind of funny because I had mentioned, I said, I thought these dice were, let's get like a regular 6-sided die. So I thought these dice might have been Descent into Avernus dice. And then somebody said, no. They said, no, not at all. And I don't know. So here we go. We've got the ampersand as the 20. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So Jason says it stays white for about 2 seconds for me. Yeah, it would not last very long as a white bag if I brought it anywhere either. All right. Okay, so let's jump on in. So Flaming Huron says, yeah, now I got to go back and watch your pontificating. Yep. And the Madman says they've got a couple of Crown Royal bags, different dice for each gaming group. Yeah, because that used to be the thing. It was like, oh, Crown Royal bag. That is perfect for a dice bag. And most dice bags, when they started making dice bags, were kind of feltish. They had like a bit of a felt finish, like a Crown Royal bag. So, all right. Let me grab a quick sip and we'll jump into the news. Portal Games is now taking pre-orders for Vienna Connection. Here's a scoop. Vienna Connection is a perfect choice for you if you like story-driven games with immersive narration and engaging plot. It's a fascinating story inspired by true events from 1970s Europe. The plot, designed by, oh my gosh, not even going to get close on this, Zemislaw Reimer, maybe, could easily be used as a script for a top-rated TV miniseries on Netflix or HBO. One thing I have to admit, Portal Games never has a lack of confidence in their games. Ever. The 4 missions presented in the box form a single epic story. So if you like TV shows like True Detective, that wasn't a spy show. The Outsider, that wasn't a spy show. Or Mosaic, I'm not familiar with that. This might be right up your alley. Vienna Connection is a game night experience. It's not a single session Euro game that you can play any day with any group. Instead, it's an entire game night adventure with clues, leads, and red herrings. It's the kind of game that you debate and discuss hours after finishing. It involves deciphering messages and analyzing various reports and documents for evidence. If you love brainstorming with your friends, debating and discussing different theories and solutions, this is the game for you. Vienna Connection is the first true spy game. If you like this genre of movies and novels, you can finally play a game about being a spy. Aren't there a lot of games like that? I don't. This is the first spy game ever created by man. There's no game like it. Once again, that's back to Portal. You run secret operations, intercept Soviet reports, decode messages from the CIA. You do all the things you've seen in the movies. It's a true spy game. Aren't you bumping off spies? Isn't there counterterrorism, or I should say counter-espionage going on? Vienna Connection is a story-driven game. It doesn't offer many challenges to Eurogamers, nor a chance to master a specific strategy to improve the way you can win. It is a story experience, like being part of an interactive TV show. If you're looking for deep strategic challenges in gaming, you might not find them here. Vienna Connection is a campaign game consisting of 4 missions. It shines when played as a complete experience. Separate game sessions are less interesting if you don't know or don't experience the whole story. If you feel like you can't dedicate 4 game nights to play the entire game, you might consider passing on this pre-order. That's kind of odd. In some ways, Portal's saying, oh, this game is going to blow you away. Your head is going to explode because there's never been a spy game made. This is the first spy game ever, but you might not want to buy it. It's very strange sell sheet info here. The game is heavily language dependent. You will read a ton of cards, reports, and files. It's a full-blown narrative experience. The box comes with 100 pages of different files and documents. Please consider waiting for a local edition of the game if you and your group are not fluent English speakers. Vienna Connection is for 1 to 5 players, ages 16 and up. Plays in 90 to 120 minutes. I'm assuming that's each episode because it's got the 4 parts. That's my guess. It can be pre-ordered for $45. It's going to carry an MSRP of $50, and it is expected to ship out in May. So this is what throws me off a little bit. And like I said, I mean, it's, of course, yes, I was joking around about some of this stuff. Because Portal games, actually, their localization into English has gotten way better than it used to be. I joke about the Robinson Crusoe news piece on the old podcast with Elliot that we just couldn't stop laughing. It's just, oh my gosh. If you ever want to get a kick out of like our old podcast, go do a search on thegaminggang.com for Robinson Crusoe and give that news piece a listen, because you can hear us laughing so hard that we've got tears rolling down our faces, and we're 1,800 miles apart. So, anyway, I gotta say, Portal has really gone all in on this detective system. But the thing is, this doesn't seem like this is a detective like their series, right, of games. So I don't know. And it's weird because I read all of that info about the game. I'm showing you all of these images from the game, and I really don't know anything about this game. Isn't that weird? I don't have a vibe on it. So I don't know. $45. I mean, that's fair. It's extremely fair, especially if, thing is, I get the feeling that it's going to be a game where it's like, okay, you play these 4 episodes and then that's it. Then, you've played it, like exit games, right? Once you play an exit game from Cosmos, you've played the story, you're done. Done deal. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta be honest. Portal Games, and gosh, I can never pronounce the name of the gentleman who basically runs Portal. Um, I know he follows the gaming gang, and years ago when I lived in Arizona, I did review some Portal stuff, but after that, nothing. I don't know. I don't know if he dislikes my style or something. I don't know. Do not know. So Kabuki Kid has joined us in chat. Double K's in the house. Talking about the Crown Royal bags, yes, from the 80s for dice bags. Yes, everybody who's been gaming for a while has those. You can always tell somebody who has not gamed for a long time, who's fairly new to the hobby, when you bust out your Crown Royal bag and they look at it like, huh? Why are you using that as a dice bag? It's like using it for 3 decades, man. It's like, what do you want? So Jason says, he almost wants to buy Vienna Connection because of their honesty. You know what? I guess so. Like I said, I'm not dissuading anybody from from buying this, from pre-ordering this. It sounds interesting. It's just I just don't have my finger on the pulse of what this game actually is. So anyway, a Grade A has joined us in chat. Good to see you, Grade A. And Kabuki Kid says, didn't they get Paul Grogan to do their rule book for English now? I don't know who's doing their localization, but they have gotten way better at it. I can tell you that much for sure. All right. Arriving this spring from Garfield Games and Renegade Game Studios. I almost want to go, Renegade Game Studios. I don't know why. Is Hadrian's Wall. I've got the skinny. When visiting the north of Britannia in 122 AD, the Roman Emperor Hadrian Augustus witnessed the aftermath of war between his armies and the savage Picts. In a show of Roman might, he ordered a wall to be built that would separate the Pict tribes from the rest of England. Grand in its design, the wall stretched 80 Roman miles from coast to coast. On a side note, a lot of people don't realize this, but a Roman mile was actually much shorter. Well, I should say much. It was shorter than our standard mile. It's about, I think it's about a little more than 90% of a mile. Anyway, back to the game. In Hadrian's Wall, players take on the role of a Roman general, placed in charge of the construction of a mile castle and bordering wall. Over 6 years, rounds, players will construct their fort and wall, man the defenses, and attract civilians by building services and providing entertainment, all while defending the honor of the Roman Empire from the warring Picts. The player that can accumulate the most renown, piety, valor, and discipline, whilst avoiding disdain, will prove to the emperor they are the model Roman citizen and be crowned legatus legionis. Hadrian's Wall stood in service to the Roman Empire for nearly 300 years before its eventual decline. Today, Hadrian's Wall is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the remains of the forts, towers, and turrets can still be explored. Hadrian's Wall is for 1 to 6 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around 60 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $55 when it arrives in the second quarter of 2021. Kabuki Kid says, I need to say it like Rocky Balboa. Hadrian! I don't do Stallone. I don't really do many impersonations at all. So I do different voices, but they just don't belong to anyone famous. Great A says, not really much of a wall anymore. No, it really is not. You could step over it Actually, I thought in most locations. Some it's just like a bump. Anyway, I like the artwork. I think the artwork's pretty cool for this. It is a Garfield game. It is not designed by Shem Phillips. And it does not have that typical artwork from that one artist. Off the top of my head, I can't recall their name. That does like all of the like the North Sea series of games, the what is it, Westphalia, like the Architects of Westphalia or something like that. I have requested to possibly do a review of this from my connection over at Renegade. Problem is they're always changing who their PR person is. So, and sometimes there's somebody who's familiar with me. Other times they're like, who are you? What do you want? All right. But, I mean, this looks kind of cool. This does look kind of cool. I believe I think the designer's name is Bobby Hill. I'm not familiar with any of their work. But it does have that kind of Garfield game vibe to it, doesn't it? Kind of if you have played, say, Raiders of the North Sea or any of those other games from Garfield Games. But like I said, I definitely like the artwork. And right now I'm showing like a layout. That's like for one of the players. That is a single players. So Kabuki Kid says, Bobby Hill, son of Hank Hill. Bobby. My best friend Elliot Miller does actually a pretty good Hank Hill impersonation. He does a pretty damn good. Well, let's see. It's been a while since he did it, but gosh, now off the top of my head, I can't remember his name, and he just passed away. Sean Connery. Kept getting Roger Moore in my head, and I'm like, no, that's not who it is, Jeff. Why are you thinking Roger Moore? Because of Bond, right? Okay. All right. So, okay. Did this count as war game news? I don't know. Some of you out there might say, yeah, that's kind of a War Game Wednesday news piece. But I've got more wargaming news. As Craig Martin's popped in. Good to see you, Craig. Thanks for popping on in to visit with us tonight. So, Grade A says the Pathfinder Savage World Kickstarter starts January 19th. That's kind of funny because I haven't even heard. I know about it, but I didn't even get that news yet. Well, maybe I did earlier, and I just haven't seen it yet. But yeah, that is something that I'm going to share. I do want to mention that when we were just talking about, I'll just go back to it real quick. Vienna Connection. I should have pointed out that this is kind of like a Kickstarter, but it's not a Kickstarter. So they're revealing, I guess, every day they're revealing new things. They're like adding bonus items and stuff like that. But it is not a Kickstarter. Although if you go and you take a look at the pre-order page, it's got a listing of all different, almost like stretch goals on it. So that's something to keep an eye on. Anyway, I was going to say that when I get news about a Kickstarter, I tend to not share it until the Kickstarter is live. And the reason is it'll get lost in the shuffle. Because I normally will have 5 news pieces every weekday. And then, of course, I've got my brother does the comic releases that are coming out as well. And if I put up Kickstarter news when I get it sometimes from companies, and it's like a week and a half out, it's like nobody's going to remember this. And I don't want to sit there unless somebody has brought me on to do some consulting for their Kickstarter. I don't want to be sitting there plugging their Kickstarter, especially, if I haven't even gotten a look at the game. Anyway, So that is why you have not seen any mention of the Pathfinder Savage Worlds Kickstarter as of yet. But when it does go live, I will share that news. Moving right along. On the P500 list currently is Skies Above Britain. Here's the latest from GMT Games. Skies Above Britain is a solitaire game depicting a Royal Air Force squadron of Hurricanes or Spitfires waging a desperate effort to disrupt and destroy German daylight bombing raids over southeast England in the summer of 1940. The player's individual aircraft, each represented by a stickered block, must locate the incoming raid, intercept it, and evade or defeat swarms of escorting German fighters that usually outnumber you and whose pilots have superior experience and tactics. Game simulates the dogfighting and fighter versus bomber action at an individual aircraft level using a card-assisted system that simulates key tactical decision-making without losing the feel of fast-paced aerial combat. A player can fly scenarios representing an individual patrol or use the patrol generator to create an endless variety of realistic individual patrols, multi-patrol campaigns, or larger campaigns covering the entire Battle of Britain. Each patrol will take a half hour or more to play, while a campaign can last anywhere between 6 and 28 patrols. You select a roster of pilots with varying experience and skill levels. Squadron takes off, takes up a patrol station, and tries to locate and intercept a German raid before it reaches its still unknown bombing target. Patrol success depends on your disrupting or destroying bombers and shooting down German fighters, but losses of your own pilots count against your score. You must weigh potential reward against risk as you try to keep your planes in contact with the bomber formation and each other, seizing opportunities for successive attacks before your fuel and ammunition levels get too low and these centrifugal forces of aerial combat scatter your unit across the sky. After each mission, you try to recover bailed out or injured pilots and get ready to scramble again, often several times in the same day, while your squadron faces the constant threat of exhausted pilots and excessive losses that could render it ineffective. The patrol is played on several displays and surfaces at the same time, each one representing a different zoom level of the action in and around the bombing raid. An interception map represents the German formation as a lethal space of escort stations, where you can position your squadron for different approaches and assign planes to attack bombers or engage German escorts. Once engaged, movable bomber tiles are positioned on the tabletop to show bombers in a variety of historical formations and cohesion states. Tiles allow the formation to literally break apart. Fighter blocks and escort markers on the tabletop show the ever-changing positions of attacking fighters and defending escorts. A separate squadron display shows the organization and cohesion of your squadron at a glance and tracks the relative positions of bogies in relation to your planes during dogfights. Skies Above Britain is a solitaire game. It's for ages 12 and up, plays in 45 to 60 minutes. It is currently available for a pre-order price of $65. It does plan to have an MSRP of $99. And this has made the cut. It's got 600 and some orders already. So taking a look at this, and these are really the only images that are out there. You know, there's a few more, but they're all very, very similar. I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious about this game. It could either be really interesting or it could be very bland. I don't know yet. So for one, I find it a little strange that you're kind of tracking each individual plane of your squadron, but you've got little blocks. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. But it is a solitaire game, and you know we love us our solitaire action here. So there is some discussion about the Pathfinder Kickstarter for Savage Worlds. I am assuming, if I remember correctly, I think it is the Adventurers Edition of the game. It's not the Explorers Edition. So, kind of funny. A Great A says, Pathfinder content is like trying to drink from a fire hose. Yes, especially if you're, not familiar with it. So, especially if you're trying to dip your toes in, you're like, oh, hey, should I check out Pathfinder? I wonder, should I give this a run? Give this a run for money? And then you're like, oh my god, you're like, especially first edition, you're like, where would I start with all these adventures? All right, so we can talk about this a little bit after the news, if you'd like. Seems to be some interest in this. Talking about Savage Worlds. Yeah, Savage Worlds doesn't use levels, do they? I thought they did. I thought, if I remember right, it's been a long time since I read through, but I don't remember levels. I'm pretty sure there aren't. All right, let's move along because I've got some more role-playing game news. Actually, let's move into some role-playing game news. The Goat's Head have released their 5e and OSR setting book, and I've got the details on Zirians and Sheridian of the West Marshes. I guess. I'm just going to call this West Marshes because they repeat the title of this a bunch of times, and it does not roll off the tongue at all. West Marshes contains everything you need to run your own West Marshes game in 5th edition or an OSR system, or to create a grimy, player-driven wilderness sandbox suitable for any campaign. Here at the end of the road, there lie uncharted wilds, where courage of heart and the spirit of discovery still ring true. Oh, so Lewis and Clark are involved in this. Nice. Here, beyond the edge of the map, relentless peril may crush the soul of the unworthy, yet it shall stoke the embers of greatness. Here, amidst the ruin and brimstone, awaits the forge of heroes, where legends are tempered in fire and blood. Welcome to the West Marshes. Marshes is a guide and toolbox for running your own games in the campaign style of the West Marshes, designed to facilitate a large pool of players that create their own parties and plan their own missions to explore a sprawling, persistent wilderness. As they delve deeper into the marshes, they will uncover ancient mysteries, challenge mighty foes, and blaze the path that will determine their fate. Inside, you'll find rules for wilderness travel and exploration, toolkits for building your own regions and factions, and guidelines for writing and designing complex layers of history. Zirians and Sheridian, I had to throw it out one more time, is written with 5th edition in mind, but it's easily compatible with most OSR systems. The book includes conversion guidelines. The 125-page sourcebook is available over at DriveThruRPG as a premium full-color hardcover, which includes the PDF, for $45, or you can get the PDF alone for $15. Why do I sit here thinking the West Marshes is a setting from a long time ago? I almost want to say this wasn't that a Judges Guild thing? Maybe I'm way wrong. Maybe I'm like way off base. But I don't know. I kind of think it rings a bell. It really does ring a bell. Or the West Marshes is a setting that is not necessarily created by the Goat's Head. Will mention, though, there we go. So Great A says West Marshes is a style of play from an old adventure hex crawl style. Okay. Cool. Cortuga98 says it is. It's based on a series of blog posts by Ben Robbins in the mid-aughts. Thank you. I was gonna say, I thought I had heard West Marshes before, and I was kind of like, why is this ringing a bell? And I'm telling you, this book is not what was ringing the bell. It was West Marshes. So I was like, huh, okay. But there is also, if you go to Drive-Thru RPG and check this out, there is a free rule set. It's a free rule PDF that you can download as well. And I guess it's open game license. I think it's kind of a 5e sort of inspired rule set, but it is free. I mean, it does not look anything like this. So it does not have a bunch of artwork and graphics as far as I know. I took a quick peek. I didn't go through all of it, but kind of interesting. So a Grade A said that they actually had backed this Kickstarter. So there we go. Cool. Moving right along, my last news piece. Following a successful Kickstarter, which actually this West Marshes book had a Kickstarter too, there's a new adventure for the award-winning Mothership role-playing game, which has arrived from Tuesday Night Games. Here's the dope on Gradient Descent. Gradient Descent is a sci-fi horror mega dungeon set in an abandoned android factory controlled by a powerful rogue AI known as Monarch. Built from the ground up for the Emmy Award-winning Mothership role-playing game. Written by Luke Gearing, Fever Swamp, Acid Death Fantasy, which those are Troika, aren't they? Now, Fever Swamp isn't. Acid Death Fantasy is, though. Pretty sure. And illustrated by RPG newcomer Nick Tafani, it includes the Cloud Bank Synthetics Production Facility, aka The Deep, a 12-level, 200-plus room mega dungeon. Clean layout with an eye towards usability at the table, The Deep is one of the easiest to reference and run mega dungeons on the market. The Bell, a small scavenged camp orbiting the Deep where your players can rest and recuperate from adventuring. Gotta have a base of operations, right, gang? Contains a small crew, I should say, of NPCs with their own unique rumors and agendas. There's a D100 table of powerful artifacts created by Monarch, each with their own unique effects and potential hazards. It's campaign ready. A section on Fallout gives guidance on the potential short and long-term consequences your players may face as a result of their actions in the Deep. It's one-shot accessible. Quick tips and tables make it easy to run a 1 to 3 hour dive into the Deep for a... I don't know why I just said it like that. 1 to 3 hour dive into the Deep for a single night's play. Supports different play styles. Everything in the Deep wants something and can be reckoned or bartered or negotiated with. Always love that. It's great for faction play, social role players, or players who just want a difficult series of combat encounters. A unique new condition called the Bends that will have your players questioning whether they're human. Coming soon will be a player aid handout, maps for download. Players can fill in the maps with information they learn as they explore. This adventure is suitable for characters of any level in a survival horror setting and is sure to pose a challenge to even the most battle-hardened party. Do want to also mention that there are some trigger warnings. If you go to Drive-Thru RPG or if you go to Tuesday Night Games, you'll see. It's like whatever. It's like put your big boy or big girl pants on and play some games. Crying out loud. Anyway, the 64-page Mothership Gradient Descent PDF is available over at Drive-Thru RPG for $9.99. Grade A is pointing out that this is for Mothership and that they backed this as well when it was on Kickstarter and got it about a month ago. And The Mothership solo rules are on DriveThru RPG. The Mothership rules are available on DriveThru RPG, and they're free. Well, they've always been free, I think, as a PDF. Not going to get a free book. So a Great A is going to have to tell us, how is Gradient Descent? I like the concept of mega dungeons. I gotta be honest, I don't think in actual play they're as I don't think they're as good. Well, I guess maybe I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say they're not as good. Well, we'll get into that in just a minute. In fact, you know what? Maybe we'll talk about that too, because we got a little bit of time. Anyway, I was talking about DriveThru RPG with those last two items. And of course, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThru RPG, by all means, please swing over to thegaminggang.com, click on one of our ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up, and they help keep the Gaming Gang website around. And there are quite a lot of people who do actually use those links. It really, really helps out. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, anyway, other thing I should point out is they have announced the dates for the Origins Game Fair. It is now going to be later in the year. They have moved it quite a bit. It's going to be September 30th through October 3rd. And of course, that takes place in Columbus, Ohio. I will probably book a room. I don't necessarily know if I would go. I like Origins. Origins is fine. It's not necessarily my favorite convention. And the thing is, I don't know. Gen Con's my favorite. I love Gen Con. I'll go to Gen Con and wear a mask all day long. That's fine. I don't know if I want to do that for Origins. Gotta be honest. The whole concept of wearing a mask all day is, not, and I'm definitely a mask wearer. It's just, if you have not been to big conventions, it's like we're talking hours upon hours upon hours of wearing that mask. And I have not done that. And I don't know if I would really dig that. So I don't know. I don't know. It's the only opportunity I get to see my buddy Herman Luttman, game designer extraordinaire. So we'll see. Like I said, I'll book a room, but and of course I'll get, press passes. But Grady says they're not going anywhere until that vaccine hits their arm. Oh, I'm right with you. I'm just assuming at this point in time I would have been vaccinated. But even if you've been vaccinated, they're going to still make everybody wear masks. There's going to be no getting around that. So, anyway. All right. So, there was some discussion. Let's see. So, okay. I guess it looks like everybody's kind of covered the Kickstarter for Pathfinder. A Great A seems to have quite a bit of info about it. Anyway, I was going to say, Clint Gibson says, I used your link last night for the first time. He was a DriveThru RPG Gaming Gang link virgin, everybody. Oh my goodness. Picked up Dungeon Pets. Good deal. And the Excellence. Cool deal. Can't wait to be a game mistress. Yes, in the Excellence. Yeah, the Excellence is kind of fun. I saw, speaking of Kickstarters that I'm not really going to talk about until it goes live, Ninth Level Games has another Kickstarter they're going to do. I think it is part of the Zine Quest. I think it's part of Zine Quest 3. And it is a kind of like Star Wars And of course, it's not called Star Wars, but it is. It's kind of a space opera, Star Wars vibe, polymorph system game, which I don't even have a launch date yet. They just kind of mentioned something on Twitter and sent a tweet out. So Flaming Heron says, seems like a lot of events are going to be pushed back later in the year. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Comic-Con out in San Diego. That is like a big show that we love going to every year. So everybody's still talking about, as you know, and I had mentioned this before, first half of the year, I don't see anything. If anything's going on, it's all going to be virtual. Once we get into, say, July, I think that's when things are going to start to open up. But it's all going to be determined by how quickly they put needles in people's arms. And to this point, the United States is way behind on what was promised, which that's no shocker. Anyway, a great ace says airlines are not messing around now either. Yeah, that is true. Yep, they aren't. And the flight attendants union's not messing around either, if you know what I'm talking about there, which I'm not going to get into politics. Anyway, so I was talking about like mega dungeons, and I'm kind of curious. Of course, if you're watching live, chime in chat. If you watch after the fact, by all means, comment in the comment section. Is there a mega dungeon that you really love, that you've played or that you've game mastered? Because I have read some mega dungeons that are pretty cool. It's just I can't picture gamers today. Now, I'm not talking the 70s and 80s. I'm talking about gamers today, role players today. I don't picture them sitting for like the same dungeon for like a year or more. Now, I know we've talked about like long campaigns like Masks of Nyarlathotep for Call of Cthulhu, but that is different. It's not, and yes, I get it. The mega dungeons are a bit different as the players progress. And of course, if you're playing something that has a level system, of course, the challenges are going to increase as you go along. In fact, we had a mega dungeon for 5e, Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I thought was fine. I thought it was pretty cool. One thing that also throws me off a little bit is that the mega dungeons, and actually this is a lot of dungeons, just don't they don't feel organic. It's kind of like, yeah, I was using that chart in the back of the Dungeon Master's guide, just populating. But then some really cool mega dungeons do have a very organic feel to them. So Great A says, Jeff, mega dungeons always start, then end before completed. That's also the case with some people when they release those as well. It's like, okay, these are this many levels. Yeah, well, we didn't finish that up. So Jason says that they've used them but broken them up. See, that's what I would think. I would think maybe you'd scrape. I don't know why that word popped in my head. Scrape like 3 levels and be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to use that. So, Great A says never participated in a mega dungeon that lasted more than several sessions. Yeah, like I said, I don't picture them just in actual action being as exciting as they might seem reading them as the game master. I don't know. And there are some cool mega dungeons out there. What is it? Repan Afuk is a big one that's been ported over to every system, basically, that I'm aware of. Not every, but a lot of them. Stone Hell, that's another one. Operation Unfathomable, I don't really consider to be a mega dungeon. Although that's a pretty gonzo underworld system. There you go, Barrow Maze. That's another one that's been ported over a lot and is very popular. Thank you, a grade A, for mentioning that one. So, I don't know. Kabuki Kid says they have Rapan Athuk, or however it's pronounced, for 5E. That is a big book. That is a massive book. So, if you've played them and you've had a good time, by all means, I mean, let me know. It's just, once again, I don't think anybody ever completes them. But then again, I don't think a lot of players actually complete big, long adventures anyway. Like Rymeth Frostmaiden. Yeah, I'm sure people get to the end of it, but I don't think I kind of get the feeling that they don't play through all of it. You know what I mean? Jelly beans. Castle Greyhawk. Well, that's a famous one. Blackmoor. That's Dave Arneson's. All right. So, cool deal. All righty. So, also, last thing I do want to mention is Castle Zagig. Oh, geez, why does that name seem familiar? It's almost as if it's somebody's name backwards. Who would that be? Anyway, before we finish up, do want to mention I've got the 2 contests going. I might have a third, because I honestly think if I roll out this third contest, it might actually get us to the first 2 contests. I'll tell you in a minute. Anyway, but if the Gaming Gang channel can reach 4,000 subscribers by the end of January, I will give away this brand spanking new copy of Next War Korea from GMT Games. If we can hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of January, I will actually give away a complete core set of the 3 core books for first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. These are all with the Jeff Eastley art covers. As the grade 8 chimes in. 3.82 subs today. Yes, I know. We're almost at 3.83. I think we're one away. But if I can get to the magical 5,000, I will give that away. And once again, both of these contests, I will actually send these anywhere that I can ship them, even if they were going to Australia. Cost me an arm and a leg, but I'm trying to pull some more subscribers in. We do all right. We pick up a couple every day, 2, 3, which is great. I definitely appreciate that. So what I'm considering doing is, if I can get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of February, I will give away a copy of the alternate art cover for the Candle Keep Mysteries. Ta-da! So Flaming Heron says, did you check the cost? Speaking of Australia, did you check the cost of shipping that book? I did, and I mentioned it before. It is only a couple of bucks cheaper. It's not a huge difference in price if it's just the RuneQuest book as opposed to both the RuneQuest and the Battle Lords. It's like $7 difference, which I thought was crazy, but that is the case. Great A says Kiwi Mail. Anyway, so I'm thinking of floating that out there. And the funny thing is, I guarantee you that will pull people in. Because whenever I do like a giveaway and I do like the first look at a D&D book, and then I follow it, it's like a couple, like, couple weeks later, week and a half later. I try to get the reviews out before it hits the stores. That'll bring people in. That'll really bring people in. And it always does. I have seen 500 new subscribers. I think that was Rhyme of the Frost Maiden brought in like 500 new subscribers just for that contest. And I thought, oh yeah, they're all going to be gone. And they didn't. I was shocked. Because usually when you do that kind of contest on, say, like Twitter, it's like, oh, if I can hit 10,000 followers, I'll do this. And then the account hits 10,000, they do the giveaway, and then they lose like 2,000 followers. Because it's like, alrighty. Anyway, that is it for this time out. Of course, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you subscribe, ding that bell. Because it will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as tonight's review of Symborum. Yes, this will be up later on tonight. So Undaunted, I should mention this. Undaunted will be up on Friday. The reason why is I've got the review done, but I don't have the graphics finished. And I actually have to run out after I finish tonight's stream. Very rarely do I ever have to go anyplace during this pandemic after the show. Tonight I do. So I will not have those graphics done until late tonight. So I figured, I'll just do it on Friday. I've already got the Symborum in the can, so they say, over on here on YouTube. So look for that later on tonight. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Those of you who watched live, thank you very much. We had a good chat going tonight. We had quite a few people. We had a newbie. We had a first-timer in. Hopefully they enjoyed their stay. I didn't drop any F-bombs to scare anybody away. At least not tonight. So thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out, keeping me company. I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch the stream live. If you watch after the fact, maybe you're even watching on Memorex. I have a soft spot in my heart for you as well. I appreciate anybody taking time to watch any of the videos this goofball puts together. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday nights, Thursday, whatever day it happens to be for you as you watch this. I will be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. And of course, as I close out all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, I really do hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, click right here. And if you'd like to check out one of our recent live streams, click right up top. And if you want to roll the dice and see what the algorithm for YouTube recommends, click right here. And of course, thank you once again for watching. And gang, please stay safe and wear a mask.